Hello everyone on YouTube. My name's Steve. There's a lot of people that ask me and also message me, how's it built? So I'm going to give you a brief description of how it's built, just so you guys know. And I hope to see someone building one of these, because it'd be pretty cool to see someone else around the world having the same thing that I do. So I'll show you guys what it's built. So this is the final, well, not really the final revision, because there's always revisions to be made, but this is probably the third bike that I've made, all based around the same theory. So I'll just have a regular bike frame chassis using a 26-inch rim in the front. Tire kind of tread I'm using is really nothing crazy. I mean, these tires are free, really, or off other bikes, but I guess the more low friction you would have on there, the better it'd be for high speed. I just put on here for the purposes of this video, because I'll try to take it for a little spin after. I did put a speedometer back on. It's a wireless tack, so not the greatest, but it's working. I added on just 2 days ago a light. It's a crankable LED light. I don't know, it was cool, so I bought it. This bike just has front brakes. A lot of people argue that it's not really good to have just one set of bike brakes on a bike that will probably be able to do 60, 65, 70 kilometers an hour, depending on the wind resistance and such. Let's see here, I'll show you my shifter. So it's got a thumb shifter on there. I don't know if you guys can see it on there, but there we go. Yeah, I believe it's the lighting. Okay, anyways. I'll remove the cranks for the pedals, and I just replaced it with 2 BMX pegs, I would say. Haven't really locked them. My old bike, these were locked. Well, I did set it up differently, but I'll get to that later. Not really important. I mean, you can still ride the bike, just that not really get the grip on there. But anyways, the bracket of this bike, the way it's made, it's a piece of 12 gauge steel. Sorry, I'm just trying to adjust this camera so you guys can see it. A piece of 12 gauge steel. Now, I was lucky enough that I just went to this place where I believe they recycle the steel, and there was just a piece cut out there. So I didn't really have to do much other than drill some holes in it, slap it on with my luck. So that was really good. Now, there's been my friend that does help me with this stuff. He's found a way to actually mount it without piercing the bike frame, but I still think that actually drilling holes right through the bike frame would be much better, just to keep it more sturdy. In this case, I was only able to drill 3 holes into the 12 gauge steel to hold it onto the frame. It's using some relatively thick bolts, probably almost the size of the frame on that portion of the bike. Okay. I'm using a transmission off a scooter. You guys probably won't be able to find it, but that's what it looks like. It's got a sprocket on the front, 6-peg sprocket, wired up with a chain, and as people have already believed, it runs off the back sprocket there. Just a regular bike sprocket. I mean, you can actually modify the sprocket on the back to even get more speed off the line and such. The gear shifter I'm using is nothing really. I actually have to change this. I don't know why my camera's not working good today. Hold on. That is actually a lot better. Okay. So just using a regular shifter, nothing crazy. I actually have to change that shifter because it's horrible. It doesn't shift properly. Other than that, I'll show you the engine. Okay. We'll start with the clutch. It's actually using a 3-pad pocket bike clutch. Now that I found that even though this clutch is cheap, I mean, it works really well for picking the engine off the line. It kicks in really hard. Probably even find performance clutches if you want. Then I'm using the CNC machine bracket that I got from a website. It's called Stratton Inc., I believe it's called. I don't know the direct link off my head, but it's been a while since I've ordered the motor. Between the bracket and the clutch, I've used spacers, basically, to space it out so that the shaft of the motor doesn't touch the inside of the bell, as well as the clutch, so it just spins freely at idle. I was only able to use 3 bolts. As you notice, there's one missing. Reason being is just because of the location of where I would have to put the bolt from the other side. There's not really much room, so I just left that out. It's been working fine ever since I built this thing like 4 or 5 years ago. Currently I'm using the 50cc Honda that I did in one of my videos, I believe it was earlier in the year. It's a 4-stroke Honda GXH 50. Okay. There's a few modifications to the engine that I've done over time. The first one would be I start off with just I believe it's a dirt bike air filter. Second thing, got the V-stack at my local go-kart shop. Third thing, that's not even the original carburetor. I actually broke the original carburetor before I was actually using it on the bike because I tried to modify it. So I actually got a go-kart carburetor off like a 125cc Honda 5 horse. I'm not sure exactly the cc it's on, but it's probably got a jet for like 4 horsepower, and the hole for the carburetor is probably very, very slight bigger, if not probably the same size. The next thing that you guys can't probably see is it has a compression mount to the motor. It's got 2 washers under the valve springs, just to tension it up a bit, and believe it or not, it actually helped a little bit. So that was probably one of my best mods, is the intake with the compression mod. And the last mod that I actually did to finish the motor off was actually put on a nice exhaust. It's basically a straight pipe exhaust. I was actually, again, at the steel place that I found the bracket at, I was able to find, very luckily, this curved pipe, so I didn't even have to get it bent. It was already bent for me. What I did to mount it was a very smart way to put it on. Not really the greatest, but I mean, it works really well. Was basically I drilled a hole through the pipe, just about, I don't know if you guys can see it in the middle there. Hold on, let me get a better look. I think if I go down, there you go. So a little, there you go. See that nail in the middle there? It basically goes through the pipe, right through it to the other side. Okay, and then I use this actual bracket that came with the stock exhaust to press it up against the head. Uses a few washers, looks like off a bike axle, just to press it on the head. So you'll see it in there. I'll try my best here for you guys. It just pressed against the head, and it actually has been holding very snug. It hasn't moved. I'm hoping, I don't think it's damaged the head. It's a smooth header. I sanded it down a bit so it's smooth. So it comes into a nice bend. And yeah, so it wasn't a full piece, but I mean, you get that picky when it's free. I used right there, it's actually a seat post. You can see it goes into the smaller portion of the seat, and then it goes bigger. That's pretty much what it is. It was just the only thing I had in the garage that would fit, and I shimmed it, just put a little piece of sheet metal in there just to keep it nice and snug. Again, I drilled another hole down it. I used a nail through it just to hold it snug. But the other portion seemed to fit tight. I just hammered it in. Okay, and again, I was very lucky to find this nice exhaust. It's actually already cut for me. They didn't even have to cut it, and it's a nice smooth cut. Looks like they must have used it as like a scrap part. One thing that you can't see in the exhaust is a few days ago it was open pipe, but I put a slight restrictor in here. It's pretty much like a mesh, just to prevent the baffling noise, but it still makes a lot of noise anyways. And yeah, that's the engine for you. It's using just the original gas tank. Okay. The seat I used, I've changed that also. It's got a spring-loaded seat and a very thick back tire, so that the bumps on it's a very soft ride actually. And that about concludes our motorbike video. So I'll show you it on the road next, okay?